Hello everyone, I'm Forrest McFreelava, and this is Let's Play Greece in Victoria 2, number 9. We left off having achieved one of our series of major goals, which is we are now almost entirely a contiguous empire over land. We can march an army from one side of the empire to the other, accepting only this massive pocket of about, let's actually see here, the massive pocket that represents a solid almost 20% of our population. So besides that, we are completely contiguous. The second objective that we have, and that we're probably going to spend most of the rest of the game working towards, is trying to have less god-awful border gore just all throughout our empire. Now, one of the ways we're seeking to do that, or to handle that, is going to be the conquest of Ethiopia, if we can get away with it, and the conquest of Egypt. Now, both of those are very important things. We can get Egypt into our sphere, which is not at all the same, but, you know, it's good to have that at least. Hopefully they will have a reactionary rebellion. If we take a look, they are 90% of the way towards civilizing. So is Ethiopia. We have a truce with Egypt until 1910, so it's very likely that they will civilize. If not, hopefully they have a reactionary rebellion, otherwise we're probably just going to have to give up on that goal. Once we get to 15 infamy, if Ethiopia hasn't westernized by then, we'll declare war on them and annex them. If they do westernize, then we're just going to use the infamy that we saved against the Ottomans the next time there's a crisis war, which, if you take a look at this map, I can pretty much say with almost complete confidence that we're going to fight another great war against the Ottomans due to us having so many of their cores and them still existing. Liberia wants an alliance with us. We're not going to take that. We can create a state in the Congo of all places, and we're going to do that. More states really are always just a good thing. Last time, Dalmatia, under the Croatians, got its independence. And that basically forms a solid chain from the Adriatic to the Black Sea of places that we're going to ally and just kind of have under our wing. Now, I don't plan at this point for us to go over the infamy limit, and that decision isn't because I don't want to deal with all of the difficulties of fighting, and hey, look at that, Austria got one of their cores back, which is great news. I had actually wanted to go fund them, but forgot to do that. But it doesn't really matter because they won anyway. What was I going to say? Oh, right, so, going over the infamy limit. I don't want to do that right now, and the reason isn't because of anything along the lines of, oh, I don't want to fight the whole world. Honestly, I think we could probably pull it off. Maybe. It really depends, but I think there's a decent chance that at this point we could do it. I don't want to risk it right now because taking over lands from the Ottomans will only be 1, 3.6 infamy if we do it during the Great War, and 2, it lowers a lot of the jingoism requirement. I'm not really sure how jingoistic our population is, and let's actually go find that out right now. Our people are 7.35 jingoist, which is enough that we could add war goals usually. However, the requirement drops considerably during Great Wars, and it's also a lot cheaper war score-wise. So we're probably going to just stay away from 25 infamy as best we can, or anything above that, until we've basically dismantled the Ottomans to the point that we would be able to go after them in 5-year intervals and just attack, attack, attack until they're destroyed. So once we're in a point where we can do that, then we don't really have to worry about, you know, the infamy or the rest of the world, and we'll probably just start bludgeoning against all of these remaining states, and hopefully we'll just be able to, you know, win, essentially, and that'll be our final press. Until then, though, first of all, we should probably build some armies. Looks like we can build one army in China, so we'll just get that out of the way to not really have to worry about that. Well, actually, we'll not do that. We'll build armies out of our forces in both Europe, Africa, and Asia. And it looks like, what, 24 Wow, simple math right now. 23 plus 20, 43. Okay, so we can build 4 actual full complete armies. We'll try to build it as much out of African units as possible, just for the main troops that will actually suffer casualties. Just because we want to maintain our own cultural groups and things as best we can. We'll probably make the infantry all Turkish. Let's see. Oh, and we have a bunch of South Italians, so that's kind of inconvenient. But we'll basically all the minority groups that we want to kind of depopulate. I realize there's really no way of saying this that doesn't sound absolutely horrendous, which is kind of awful. Yeah, I don't know, man. There's really no way to avoid that. Anyway, so every group that we don't really want to have a tremendous... Yeah, there's no good way of saying it. Anyway, so 16 groups of infantry and then 12 groups of artillery, and we already basically built all the artillery out of our own people. Looks like there are 3 groups of Chinese forces we'll have to bring over, but we have 43 total, so we can just avoid them. So we'll just get Kurdish forces. And then, okay, 16 plus 12 is not hard math. There we go, we've nailed that. And the remaining 8 are going to be dragoons from Africa. And look at that. Honestly, this is a huge tangent, but nothing makes me feel dumber as a person than trying to keep track of my army production in Victoria 2. Because I'm just really counting, you know, groups of 10 subdivided into 5 elements. And that's really not that much, although it just is on the very edge of my mental capacity. While we're just kind of waiting, I guess I'll sort of ramble a bit, and I hope you guys don't mind that, because I like to think I ramble about vaguely interesting things, but God knows I might just be making that up or being hopeful. But at any rate, I heard a very interesting and worrying thing, that one of the largest characteristics that determines your success in the world, and Egypt has civilized, so that really sucks. But we'll just go ahead and bludgeon into them again and again once we do decide to cross that infamy threshold. But one of the things that actually determines your, let me say, one of the things that determines your long-term likelihood of success in the world is IQ, supposedly. This is kind of maybe radical theories. I'm not entirely sure where the line is drawn at this point. But one of the big things that, you know, says whether or not you'll succeed is your IQ. And one of the ways you can measure IQ is how many... Oh, and Ethiopia went ahead as well. Alright, well that's unfortunate. Yeah, so we're going to have to go over the infamy limit and really just bludgeon into these countries. Hopefully the next Great War comes fairly soon. The British are going to be against us, simply because they will not ally us, and they're not too happy with the fact that we've allied basically the entire world. So, yeah, not ideal that. Austro-Hungary declared war on Croatia, which sucks. We liked them. But they're neutral to us. We'll give them war subsidies, although that's not really going to help them all that much. Maybe they'll accept an alliance offer? Ooh, they're in the sphere of the Germans. That is deeply unfortunate. Who are they all fighting? Romania, Croatia, and Serbia. I don't think they're going to be able to win this. No, they're really not. I mean, we might be able to join the war. I mean, we'll give everybody war subsidies. It probably won't help them very much. The tangent I was going to go on, though, I'll just kind of close it up really quickly. Let's see, we'll stop funding our navy nearly so much, even if we do get into a war. We won't need it. At least not for this war. Alright, so that's going poorly for all of our friends. And we can't seem to intervene. Wait, yeah, why can't we intervene? Oh, a nation targeted by a war goal needs to have a friendly opinion of us. Okay. Well, we should be able to do that. I don't imagine the Austrians are going to try doing this without adding a war goal. Alright, so looks like we can ally the Croatians. I still haven't finished that tangent. I'm very much aware of that. Essentially, the idea is that one of the big determinant, or the big tails of intelligence, is how much stuff you're able to just kind of float in your mind. So because I'm not very good at floating all of the armies and what, you know, makes them up in my mind, I feel a little less than awesome about that, I guess we'll say. Just because that doesn't really imply anything great about my intelligence. Alright, so moving off from that kind of odd tangent, we're going to just kind of shovel forces over against, well, really everyone that we can, which is just Austria, since it's the only force that... I'm rambling. Now look at me. I'm just rambling. We're going to help the Croatians and our various allies. We really can't just afford to let this go on. Oh, I mean, we can. It's just really, really suboptimal. And I don't imagine it would take very much for us to get a white peace. Oh, wait, they have to call us to arms. Darn. Alright, well, I guess we'll just sit back. We'll load Romania up filled with our troops. And hope for the best. That's really all we are able to do right now. We did raise some Sicilian troops. I believe it was all just a bunch of infantry, so we'll probably have to carve those out of whatever groups we end up having left over. If the Austrians are smart, then they will really not rock the boat with Romania, although I don't really anticipate that they'll, you know, be smart about that. I anticipate that they will try to annex Romania, or not annex, but at least do a decent amount of damage to the Romanians. And if they try to take any of their states, then we can intervene. So in that sense, it could work out decently for us. Still going to be awful, and there's a slight chance that... No, wait, no, the Germans will not be able to intervene unless the Austrians first annex Croatia. Because they can't intervene in a war where there are any war goals added. So, yeah. Hope for the best right now. Oh, man. They're probably just going to annex them. There's really almost no hope of avoiding that. And the Romanians are putting up a very valiant effort, but not one that we can actively support them in. And yeah, there we go. The war is ended. We weren't able to help. Alright, well, that's unfortunate. I guess we could just press for Yugoslavian independence, Yugoslav independence at some point. That is conceivable. And that would also do a good bit of damage to Austria-Hungary. We'll probably have to wait before we're able to really do that, though. Meanwhile, Italy might collapse to either communists or Democrats. So that would be cool. The war to end all wars, which I'm not actually sure how that differs from a Great War. I probably should have read it. Can I not open this? I can't. Once I've closed it, I believe you're just unable to open it again. Well, sorry about that. I assume it'll just be a bloodier version of the Great Wars that we've already unlocked. And we'll just move on from there following that sort of presumption. We'll let people want free press a little bit more. We're not really going to work towards it. British communists have taken over British China, so that's kind of cool. Not the rest of their empire, though. We could still go after Punjab. It's really one of the few colonial areas we can kind of go after now that the others are all civilizing those terrible jerks. And we should probably be splitting this army up since there's really no reason to let it just kind of clog with all these forces. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll just get it up to 2 full groups and then just split it in half. Now we're not really making any guards. The reason we're not making any guards, honestly, is pretty dumb. I guess one of the reasons is because we don't have very many Greek forces, and that's actually a pretty decent reason. The dumb reason, though, is mainly just because I was playing a game of this before I decided to get back into recording, and I was playing as a country that didn't have very much prestige, and I just could never get enough luxury clothes to actually make guard units. So I've just kind of slowly shuffled them out of my militaries. Which, you know, obviously isn't an ideal reason, but it's just kind of the one that we've got. And I really hope a crisis comes about fairly soon. I mean, we're really the only place it would happen, other than, I guess, the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and kind of the Italians, since they're more or less falling apart at this point. Oh, and we're only the second most powerful military in the world, so I'm not sure what changed. We'll go ahead and get social alienation just for that education efficiency. And then we'll find out who's the most powerful military. I'm betting America. It is. Why, though? I don't know. Their army is significantly smaller than our own, so yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a mystery, probably just because they have a pro-military party in office. So let's actually take a look at that. Oh yes, they have jingoists, so that explains their high military score. We have Jacobin, I'll just say Jacobin from now on. We have a bunch of Jacobin rebels, and that kind of isn't ideal, but we'll just go clean them up as quickly as we can. A lot of Jacobins in Afghanistan. Not something you would anticipate. And I guess if you would anticipate it, you'd be likely to be disappointed. That's kind of a shot at George W. Alright, Switzerland broke their alliance with us, which is just kind of weird. No great reason for them to have done that. I wonder which rebels are about to take over Rome and create a new Italian regime. Will it be the communists? Will it be the Democrats? Let's find out. It is the Italian communists. So that's kind of cool. We'll have a big communist Italy going about. It's really not going to be too significant, I don't imagine. Yeah, so I guess there's that. And then I guess we could just go roll into Punjab, although it really doesn't matter all that much at this point. Brazil wants an alliance from us, so we'll go ahead and just give that to them. You know, sometimes I forget that Turkey is a bourgeois dictatorship, since it doesn't really come up very often. We'll go ahead and get some socialists. Look at that. We can go ahead and give our people some generous unemployment subsidies, which at this point you're probably getting more money for being unemployed than for working, since we have no wage restrictions. Oh, cool. Austria-Hungary is going to war against the Italians. Trying to just push that forward. We can add Oman to our sphere of influence, and eventually I'm pretty sure Najd is going to bring us into war against the Spanish to get their cores back, which I'm honestly fine with, just because I'm no fan of the Spanish and their just incessant getting in our way and just kind of getting in our business. Whoops, not justify war, add to sphere. Alright. So I really don't want to go to war against the Ottomans unless it's some sort of terrible crisis war that just drags the whole world in, simply because I don't think it's very productive if we do that. And yeah, we could go to war against the Persians to try to take over one of their states. That is vaguely productive. Although I really want to save our infamy for a great war. Although it just seems like they don't want to have a great war. And that's decently annoying. We will go ahead and ally that one weird Chinese state, not so much that I want to support them, but it really doesn't actually help us. Oh, what is this? The Heavenly Kingdom's getting independence from China, and they're at war with China? That kind of makes sense. Yeah, Chinese Civil War. I wonder if we could actually just support these dudes. We'll go ahead and drop all of these priorities everywhere else in the world. And yeah, just try to get the Heavenly Kingdom on our side. That'd be pretty cool if we could just topple China and replace it with an uncivilized version of China. Kind of a tangent, not really any of the goals that we've been seeking to accomplish, but it'd be pretty cool. All those British communists. That's just kind of odd. Oh well. At any rate, the proletarian dictatorship of the Italians is kind of just collapsing. It looks like France is getting a bunch of communist rebels. An interesting thing about this game is when one state falls to communist rebels, it increases the likelihood of communist rebellion in all adjacent states by something like 25%. So that's going to be something to look out for. Oh man. And Austria just wants its land back. So that's pretty cool. We're going to see a resurgent Austria-Hungary, which never actually happens. Not that we really want that for a few reasons, but it doesn't really matter too much. And really, it's not that we don't want that. Austria doesn't really have any reason to be our enemy. It's just that we have all these little friendly states. But I mean, a friendly Austria is more powerful than any of them, so it doesn't really matter too much. So yeah, other than that, we just kind of keep drifting forward. We could probably go to war with Sokoto and just take them over since they're nowhere near. Well, they're 80%, but that's not so far, or not so close to civilization. Does anyone like them? The United States? We'll go ahead and really focus on becoming friends with them. Oh, and the French. The French in America, which explains why we've had so much trouble actually getting them in our sphere so far. Alright, and we'll go ahead and get steam turbine ships, just so we can go ahead and build dreadnoughts at some point. And so we really dropped the ball with all these infantry groups, and one artillery is missing. So let's see, 5, 6, 7. That should be enough. And hopefully they all just show up. We do have a small force right there and another small force right there, so those are just kind of doing their own thing. Looks like the Heavenly Kingdom is going to just lose their civil war outright, so we'll stop influencing them since it's just a waste. And there we go, Austria-Hungary is resurgent. Props to you, Austria. You never see that. Oh, Ukrainian nationalists are rising up in Poland, and Poland doesn't have a military. So that could very well actually go through. Although it'll be very slow progress, and honestly they'll probably just get bored and go away. Which is a very common fate of all those really small-scale rebellions. Which is kind of nice if you're the country they're rebelling against and just can't get your stuff together. So now, unfortunately for Austria, they're dealing with those additional communist rebels, although they do have a ton of brigades, so it won't really matter. And you'll notice we're back to 4th place. I believe it's still going to be Germany in rank number 1. Oh, sweet! Oh, thank God. Alright, so, Crisis War. Who's on whose side? They're supporting France, they're supporting us, they're supporting France, and they're supporting us. Cool, we can win this, and it's even enough that we'll probably get a fight out of it. So hopefully those armies we created are actually going to make it over to the capital in time to form together. And then we'll basically do the same thing we did in the last war, where we just kind of hold everywhere together and hope for the best. And that's really as far... yeah, that's the extent of the strategic planning at this point, but I think it's realistic. At this point, we're 24 minutes into this recording, so who knows if it's actually realistic that we're going to fight all the way through this Great War. So, come on, Russia. Just go back the French. Actually, if the British back the French... Well, no, it looks like Russia's going to be the first to do it. Well, we'll see. I honestly feel like we could just give them a very small thing and it would work. But no one really seems to want to back France against pretty much the combined weight of the rest of the great powers of the world. Which is understandable. They would accept a white peace, but I don't want to do that. And honestly, I feel like since they're willing to accept a white peace right now, they're probably not going to garner enough support. And we're going to go ahead and just build a Turkish Dragoon. And that'll replace this one undermanned group. No reason to start that army off at a deficit or in a slightly worse spot. German pan-nationalists in Yugoslavia. Curious stuff. Huh. We can't actually break our alliance with the Russians. There we go, okay. So, could we get the UK on our side? Probably not. It'd be pretty cool if we did, though. How about... Really, we can't add humiliate? That's weird. Do you want the Ivory Coast? They do want it, but not enough. Well, whatever, we'll just fight them. Can we form alliances with anybody? Well, no, not really. The Italians never would. Well, whatever. We have about 117 days left. Yeah, no, we're not going to give you a white peace, France. The whole point of this is that we can just kind of smash your whole state. The Ottomans appear to be building quite a few armies, which, you know, is very understandable given the circumstances. And I guess we'll just kind of see how this plays out. We really should start funding our navy. Maybe not right now, but very soon. We'll build more cruisers just to be safe, and we'll start funding everything. Man, okay, France doesn't really have a military, and Russia is just kind of still in shambles. I don't know where their military even is, to be honest. Just spread around. Now they have a bunch way over there. Alright, this is actually really setting itself up to be a fairly successful thing. We'll get electrical power generation, because God knows the economy is going to tumble for a little bit. Just kind of go into free fall or something similar. And we'll pull all of these forces back a little. And we'll maybe even move some forward. I'm not sure how many forces the British are going to bring to bear against us, but it'll probably be just a tremendous and almost certainly excessive amount. Alright, so these forces will all just kind of move up. Is this still a rally point? No, it's not. We just have troops there. Now we'll just bring those up to go battle the Ottomans. Our African forces are all going to fall back to somewhere kind of just in the middle. The lucky thing about France being... Okay, well actually... Okay, so we'll pull all of these troops, just combine them right there. France being the war leader is good and bad. If the Germans just roll through metropolitan France, that'll be very good. They have a ton of forces in Africa, though, which is going to be a considerable pain for us to have to deal with. We probably should have gone for more electrical power generation, just since that seems to work out fairly well. Oh, hey, look, we can increase relations with Sokoto. Nice. Alright, we have a lot of forces in Europe not really set up to do anything. We'll just kind of rush them into position in the last few moments. And we have 10 days left before the declaration of this great war. Where is that one Greek Dragoon, or that one Dragoon? It's almost ready. Brazil broke their alliance with us at the last moment. Those jerks. Alright, France suddenly very much aware that this is a terrible decision. Doesn't matter. Alright, Yugoslavia. Oh, right, part of China. Sweet, they'll just roll into communist-occupied British China, and that'll give us some war score. Oman, Niger, Serbia, Romania, Montenegro, Poland, the Great War, Johor, Ladakh, Kashmir. Kashmir having a terrible time of it. We'll go rescue them. And probably remember to go ahead and turn off rebel suppression for all of our forces. Just because that's a tremendous pain when they decide that they don't want to be dug in and just kind of move back and forth away from anywhere relevant in the midst of battle. as happens all of the time. Alright, so these forces will just have fall upon the Ottomans. And that should be fairly straightforward. We can demand a few provinces from them really just straightforwardly. But we'll hold off on any war goals for now and then just try in the end. Once again, this is a crisis war. Probably all of our great wars are going to be crisis wars just because it's the only real way to get the Ottomans into them. Alright, our troops are all decently positioned, not really ideal, but good enough, we can only hope. Go ahead and denounce the Anti-Colonial League. Alright, so we'll just immediately start occupying all of these Ottoman territories. Just try to knock them essentially as close to out of the war as possible, as quickly as possible. Oh, cool, we can just get an alliance with Hejaz. Not that really bringing in all of these uncivs is going to help us very much, but it's nice to have. America will accept. That's pretty cool. And we'll just call them in a little bit when we get the opportunity. Ew, and there are the British, so we'll just kind of chill back and probably even just evacuate this area. Alright, how are the Germans doing? Moving forward, probably a little overly ambitious. So we're probably going to have to actually really take an active role in this war. We didn't really take an active role in the last one. Oh, March 9th. Let's see. Oop, there we go. Get the US in on this. So now war score, or military strength-wise, we are just almost 3 times more powerful than they are. So that should be very good. These various countries will not accept an alliance. Japan's already on our side, so that's pretty cool. The Americans are going to start roving through Korea. Maybe the Japanese will help them. This country is helping in China. Alright, cool. This is going very well then. Africa is going to be the thing. We just kind of fell back in Africa, and we really should, let's see, we should set it up so that it tells us when our armies arrive in their various destinations. Okay, just because we have so much going on, and it's very, very easy in Victoria 2 to lose track of your armies. And I've done that several times in the past. 2 often really bad results. Alright, so these forces all are getting in position in Romania. We have this Russian force. It'll be there on the 26th. We'll be there on the 27th, so we're just going to have to chill. And we'll just move on to the mountains in case they do decide to attack us. I'm not sure. Oh, cool, they are just going to run on in. Oh, they changed their mind because that 30 stack. Alright, so we'll just keep occupying all this Ottoman land. And yeah, that'll be the thing that we attempt to take from them. And I think we'll be fairly successful. I actually don't know what the war score is for adding war goals now. Okay, it's 3.6 still, it's 16. Actually though, liberate country, let's say Yugoslavia, is 41, and 3.6 infamy. So if we do that, then that gets rid of 3 of their states. And that would be very helpful for us in the long term. Other than that, we would just need Bulgaria. Now, I don't really want to do that, in part because there's a bunch of Greek people, maybe not a bunch, but there are Greeks just generally in some of these southern areas, like Albania and northern Macedonia. Not too many beyond that, but it still sucks to have Greek, just Greek populations under foreign domination, even if it is under the domination of people that are basically not puppet states, but near puppets of us. Well, I mean, I guess they're not even really near puppets of us. They're just kind of allies and spherelings. Alright, so Africa is definitely going to be a place where we're taking significant losses. Oh, what is this? Hunting rebels. Alright, cool. They're just going to rove on directly into us. Come on, do it. Alright, cool. Let's see how well this battle's going. Alright, yeah, so we're just winning that out loud. We are definitely in the era of history where the attacker is not really the person you want to be. Although, it looks like we've lost a considerable amount of war score in the last couple seconds. I'm not sure if that means the German front is falling apart. They're definitely still winning against the Russians, which is really not the main thing. France is ultimately going to be the main thing. And it doesn't look like the Russians have gas attack or we have gas defense. It's really almost the same thing. Let's see. Alright, so we are engaging the Russians. We're actually attacking in a couple battles. I know I just said the attacker's the thing you don't want to be. Oh, well, okay. That's going decently well. Note that the Olympics have been going on for a while, and we've only got one of them. And that's almost certainly just due to the sheer level of conflict that's been going about. Because you don't actually get to go join the Olympics if you're in a war. And I wouldn't say we've been fighting consistently, but we've definitely been timing it in such a way that it seems like it. Alright, and we can just move forward throughout here. So I'm tempted to free Yugoslavia, but I'm even more tempted to just take Ottoman lands outright. Definitely, though, a mix of the both would be ideal. We're in a tremendous deficit. Oh, and there we go. We're under attack by some Russian armies just because we managed to make it to where they were retreating first, so we're just going to smash them apart. And it looks like our military is really effective, so that's just just amazing news. A bunch of British forces, kind of problematic. All these troops are just kind of holding out. I think we can get a lot out of this war. Oh yeah, we're already at 52% war score in our favor. So, what are we going to demand? We could demand Albania. We could demand Kars. We could demand Aleppo. Place in the sun. Oh, it's actually a state. Acquire state. Acquire Aleppo for 8. Wow, okay, cool. That's amazing. 8 war score to demand Aleppo. Well, we're definitely requesting that. Honestly, this might be the point where we just go over the infamy limit. Oh, and a meteor struck Tunguska. Cool stuff. Yeah, honestly, if we can just devour the Ottomans in this war, it is worth going over the infamy limit and then having to fight the entire world for the rest of the game. In, you know, 5-year cycles. In fact, that's really the point where you have to weigh it. And we'll probably have time to weigh it, because we're probably not going to be able to finish this war before we hit an hour. Let's go run on in there. If there's any country that I would expect to have gas attack, it would be the British, and they do. But we are still the defender, so it's gonna suck for you, Britain. Yeah, at any rate, whatever ends up happening, we're going to be... well, okay, so if we're able to take so much land so cheaply, then that's almost an argument in itself to not go past the infamy limit, because we'll just be able to take more of these lands later on anyway. If we have a crisis war of this scale every 10 or so years, then we still have, you know, basically 2 more before the end of the game, and we would be able to take a massive amount of territory. Although at this point, the only country whose land we need is the Ottoman empires. The Ottoman empires, Spain's, Egypt's, and Persia, and all of these random, you know, non-uncivs. So that's a lot of infamy to take all of those, and now we can build dreadnoughts, so that's great. So... well, let's just see what our infamy can get us. So we're already trying to take Aleppo. We'll go ahead and acquire Syria as well. Yeah, that's 3 war score. Oh my god. We're going to change the face of this world so drastically in this. Yeah, honestly, no, we're going over the infamy limit. I mean, I'm probably going to just make that decision on the fly right now. We can simply change everything that we want to change if we do this. For 11 war score, we're getting those 2 states. If it stays like this, we could basically take the Ottoman Empire out of pretty much everywhere. We could almost annex them, and then if we're over the infamy limit, there will be no reason for us not to just go to war to annex them in 5 years. We're going to have to fight essentially all of the armies of the world, basically constantly. And that's going to mean that our allies are going to betray us. However, we will be able to puppet them and win. Ooh, I don't want to lose 20 prestige. That's a bummer. Well, I guess we're going to go to war against Hijaz. I mean, we could just go ahead and add Conquest Casus Belli if we're going past the infamy limit. Well, I'm not ready to cross that line just yet. We'll cross it in probably like 5 minutes, though. Alright, so Lebanon. Well, not liberate country. That's dumb. Acquire Syria, acquire Aleppo, acquire Lebanon. This is just too easy. We're going over the infamy limit. There's nothing else we can do. Already, basically any relevant power in the world, and apparently Spain's about to join against us, which actually kind of works out if we can just... Yeah. If we can... Well, let's increase relations with the Spanish. Maybe we can get them on our side. That'd be kind of funny. But if we get basically every country in the world that's even somewhat relevant into this war right now... Oh, we could even acquire Bella from the French. I mean, and if the Spanish do join on the enemy side, then that's just amazing news for us in a few ways. Oh, man. This is really a time of just upsetting opportunity, because once we take this next step, it is the fatal step. Yeah, Spain will even ally us. Cool, whatever. Just get them to jump on in on this. So yeah, do we take that fatal step right now? Let's see. We could propose peace and they wouldn't accept it. Okay. And no one can leave the war because it's a crisis war, so we could just drag this on for the rest of time. Wow. But yeah, we're only at 23 war score, 16 for our demands. We really can just annex the Ottomans in this, except for, you know, we can't actually take their final state. But we could even go so far as to take Tabriz from the Russians, maybe even push them out a little bit. And then we're going to be fighting them consistently ever after. Yeah, this is the episode where we cross the threshold. There's just really... I mean, yeah. We'll just hold on to Africa and hope for the best. Oh, it looks like the French have come and attacked. Oh, right now we have a ton of dig-in bonuses, but they have defense against gas attack, which means we're going to have a really bad time fighting them for the next while. Hopefully we get defense against gas attack as well. We just lost our bonuses for dig-in once we brought those additional troops in, which is unfortunate, but it had to happen. And we should probably be taking these forces out of all of these current areas and bringing them down to Africa, since that's really going to be the disaster zone. Oh boy. So do we do it? This is our last opportunity not to. Yeah. The answer is yes. We'll go ahead and acquire state Kars. 10 war score, so it's not like these things are free anymore. French Baluchistan. We have to have that. 0 war score to demand. Amazing. Spain won't accept. We probably did that in the wrong order, so they'll break their alliance with us. Alright, let's go chase these French back. And we'll leave one group of all the like undermanned groups, and then we'll move the rest back. Alright, and we are facing a lot of hostile sieges just throughout Africa, to be expected. And then we're just going to have to keep an eye that we're not demanding far too much. And I don't really think that we're going to be, just due to the sheer price of everything. We're maybe going to need to support the Germans, though. I'm not sure the likelihood that they'll fall, probably very low, but it's probably for the best that we go and shovel some forces over just to ensure the defeat of metropolitan France. I'll go ahead and have this army go back and forth a little bit, just so we don't have everyone pile up in some awful doom stack that just gets attrition on their way over. Alright, so thanks Germany. Really, the more everyone but us just kind of has a horrible time in this war, the better it is for us. So that's cool in a way. Oh, and the Russians probably still don't have gas attack or gas defense or any of those gas techs. So we can just kind of roll on through them. Now at this point, we still could just form the Byzantine Empire and be under 25 infamy, if we decide to do that. I don't think we're going to, though. We're just not going to do that. I'm not even going to tease that we can anymore. It seems too good of a situation. Alright, and hopefully our forces get over here, and we manage to turn the tide in favor of the Germans, as it does look like they're actually not doing too hot. So we'll just try to win the most major battles, and yeah, there's actually a ton of British forces here just smashing into them. The Russians are kind of a non-entity, but let's double check that. They actually still have about 300,000 men. Huh. Alright, so I guess our allies are trying to work their way over, and there's a Chinese civil war going on, so it's all sorts of hectic. The Americans lost, and the Japanese aren't doing anything. And we're still just roving through Hejaz. Let's split this army up since they're just taking tons of attrition for no reason whatsoever. Only 3-point-something% of our people support adding war goals. Well, I guess we'll just add everything we want right now. Let's double check the actual price of these things. Alright, so right now our entire combined war goals, including the Germans, is only 49 war score. So we're going to add war goal, acquire state. We will take Albania. That pushes it a little bit. We will get a place in the sun in Tabriz. And do we want anything else from anyone else in the whole wide world? That's the big question. I'm not sure if we'll be able to demand anything else once we go forth a little bit. We still need to take over all of these Ottoman places, so that'll be something. We'll just go ahead and add war goal. We'll take British Sicily as well, just because. And who are we fighting? That's really it. That's all we can really take right now, and then we'll just kind of see. We could ask for something from the French. We could take Tunisia, which would make sense, so we'll go ahead and add that. And now even if we can't take anything else, that's still a very good catch for a single war. Really just an outrageously good catch for a single war. Spain broke their alliance with us, as was really to be expected. And then we're going to have to basically defend Africa in the future, even if not right now. Let's go smash that one French group. May as well just obliterate them if we get the chance. Alright, and we'll just move forward, help the Germans clean up their fronts. And yeah, we'll see how that all goes. We're probably going to have to pass some sort of reform, and that'll probably open the gate to more war goals. We'll go defend a small German group, really wherever a small German group is under attack. Romania wants some stuff, that's good. The more lands we can get transferred, the better. We're hemorrhaging money, we're already taxing everybody as much as we can. We are spending a lot on social programs, but whatever. We'll just kind of move through with what we've got. We are going to have to balance our budget at some point, though. Our Navy isn't really doing anything either right now. It's just kind of chilling in port, so we may as well just bring it out. Who knows, maybe, well, let's not bring it out just to bring it out, because that could potentially see it just die for no reason. Alright, we'll keep bringing more Greek forces over here. I don't believe we'll be able to add any more war goals. Oh my god, we can still add war goals. Okay. 74% war score. We're already taking Albania. Well, we'll also take Bulgaria. Man, this is just awesome. Kind of terrible, but amazing what we're going to be able to do. We'll take Armenia as well. Oh, we don't have enough diplomatic points. What an awful catch. Hopefully we didn't just waste that opportunity. At any rate, though, that means the war is going to have to drag on for a little while. Thank God that actually didn't help us too much. Bank inspection board, and then we should probably get all these admin efficiency things since we are a pretty tremendous minority in our own country. You know, we could probably just justify against Sokoto right now. Why can we not? Oh, because they like us too much. Well, alright, we'll just increase their opinion of us. That doesn't really help the problem, and we don't have the diplomatic points to actually do anything else. Where are we under attack? In Africa again. We'll go rove on up. We still haven't developed defense against gas attack. Go ahead and get Hejaz in our sphere of influence. Since we can't annex them, since we just don't have the jingoism. Alright, these forces really aren't doing much. Looks like the British aren't really attacking us through India. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, so this is really... Germany is going to be the front line that makes everything count. So let's go make things count. Defeated those French forces. We'll pull back one or two groups. And we should probably be going on the march in Africa, at least a little. Since there's really no purpose of us leaving our forces just behind to do nothing and wither away. Oh wow, that was a large battle. Alright, and we'll just keep aiding our allies. Yep, didn't mean to get this really damaged stack into the fray, but there they are. And we'll go just smash into that one French group. Not sure what the Chinese just did. Oh, it looks like Yunnan is doing well. Alright. We'll just bring these two groups to bear against that small French stack. Hopefully it'll be effective. Maybe we can chase these British down. Can we? Oh, okay, maybe. We're attacking, which isn't ideal, but we have just amazing masses of troops, so that'll do very well. The Russians are just continuing to falter, as is essentially their time-honored military tradition. And I don't believe they're going to be able to actually turn it around, as is also their time-honored military tradition. German pan-nationalists. That's right, they did take that part over. Oh man, oh how the world has changed. Alright, we'll just shovel these forces forward. It looks like the Germans really have this under control now. And we'll just spread around so the British can't really do anything aggressive. And I think at this point we've done enough. We're still going to keep up the battle in Africa just because that is, well, it's our territory and we don't really want to lose our territory if we can avoid it at all. No great master plan to it though, just sort of that straightforward sentiment. Oh, and we can still add war goals, but we have to save up the diplomatic power just in case we get to a point where our jingoism is too low to consistently add war goals. At any rate, though, this could very well be just the most significant victory, depending on how much we end up really taking. And we're going to take a lot, at least from the Ottomans. At least right now. At least for now. Well, yeah. And then all the other great powers are going to be just in ruins, so that will help us tremendously. We'll go support the Germans, and it looks like they're really unoccupying their territories, so that'll very, very quickly turn into just them destroying all of our enemies. The Russians attacked, but we have a ton of dig-in bonuses and gas attack, so they can't really do anything about us. Looks like we beat that small Ottoman force, which is kind of to be expected. Alright, what is the peace at this point? Just for our goals, 61%. So we can really just keep adding to this. It might be better to just give Yugoslavia its cores. We'll try to take Tripoli and whatnot and see just where we end up. 6 war score, so that puts us at like 67 war score total. Let's see, regionally again, we could probably go after Azerbaijan. Well, okay. Azerbaijan. Take that for 5 war score. Alright, so the world is going to change drastically when this ends. Oh, we can build tanks now. I'm not sure how feasible it is that we're going to have the resources to build tanks consistently. I think we'll be in a decent spot. We might have to really spend the beginning phase of next session just designing some factories with the idea in mind that we were going to need to focus on getting our domestic production to a point where we can build up our military just on our own. We'll just smash all of these armies against that Russian force and hope for the best. Although realistically at this point we could probably just stay neutral with them. Neutral in the sense of just not actively destroying their armies, not anything else. Although it's going decently enough, so who cares? The Germans are not helping, but they don't really need to help, and they're doing a lot of good on the other front, which you could argue is definitely the main front. Alright. And yeah, look at that, they were just smashed apart. We'll keep chasing them into Saratov. And let's see, we were just attacked, probably nowhere too important, and not to an extent that'll be too important, but we'll just go rush all of these troops in, and we're just winning out loud. Yeah, that's just amazing. Alright, great times. Alright, so they're retreating just into that other army. We'll just give chase. And yeah, things are going just almost outrageously well. Yeah. I don't really know what else to say. We'll justify war against the Persians. Start taking their places. Doesn't matter if we're detected. We'll just go take them over when we get the chance. I guess we'll go ahead and... laissez-faire is not really something we want. State capitalism isn't really something we want either. So we'll just stay pro-military. It doesn't really matter too much. And the big thing to remember is that we are 100% going to be fighting the world for the rest of the game. We've essentially... there's no getting around that. The whole world is our natural enemy from basically the moment we went ahead and got past 35 infamy. And I'm only saying 35 because we have the option to lose 10. Pretty much from that moment up until the end of time. Until we've basically destroyed them or they've destroyed us. And who knows which is the more likely. Well, I think we have a good shot at it. If I didn't think that we could win, I wouldn't have done it. The big threat's going to be when Germany turns against us, which they're definitely going to do, especially because we're not going to give them any of their war goals. Literally none. We could give our people something like the vote. We'll give them secret ballots and hope that that doesn't just really piss them off because of the futility of it. Alright, Sevastopol, armies showing up in places. We don't really need to be delving deeper into Russia, but we still are. Tremendous British attack. Although we're not doing too poorly in it. Get those forces involved. Spain broke their alliance with the UK. That's pretty cool. I really should be calling it at this point, but honestly, I am tremendously invested in where this is going. And yet, we will have to call it sooner rather than later. Hey, look, China's growing. Cut the UK down to size. We're basically going to be doing that by default. Oh no, infamy. Alright. Yeah, we're doing very well. We'll get to the point where we can add 2 more war goals, and we'll see what will happen at the end of that. Yeah. Oh, where is this Russian attack? Right there. We'll just funnel troops into it. I don't even think we're really going to have to hurry. Did we just already decimate these British? We did, and push them forward. That's right, I remember that. Alright. So at the end of this month, we should be able to add 2 more war goals. We might even just be able to bring the war to a close, just as soon as that happens. I mean, there's really not going to be much reason to prolong it, and that would be cool to see it over. Could take us an extra month, though. Alright, so let's see. Right now, we have 113 war score. Cut out the Germans, which we're going to, and I guess the Romanians, which I would like not to, but we might have to. And we only have, despite our tremendous territorial claims, 73 war score of demands. Demanding Yugoslavia gets their independence would be 20, which is doable, but I would rather just take those things for myself. So let's think about that. What are we at again? I probably should have paid more attention. I just said it literally moments ago. Probably something like 70. Oops. Keep all bars. Yeah, 73. So first things first, we definitely need Libya. Add war goal, acquire state, Libya, and then they only have 3 states left. So that puts us at 82. So at that, we won't be able to free Yugoslavia, but we could probably take Northern Macedonia, and then we'll just finish off the Ottomans over time. We could also ask for Georgia. I'm not sure if we really want to ask for Georgia right now, or if we should just funnel our remaining war score into the Ottomans so we can annex them immediately in the next war. I'm going to go ahead and avoid that. We will ask for Georgia. That way we have a pretty defensive frontier against the Russians when they come at us for the rest of time. So add war goal. Whoops. Acquire state. We will go after Georgia. That's just 5 war score. So that's all we want from the Russians. We'll push them away, and then we'll be safe. And yeah, that'll be a good border for the rest of time. When they do attack us from here on out, we'll probably just bludgeon against them a little bit, but not really do too much. We'll also go after Afghanistan, and who knows, maybe these 2 countries will get their independence and we can go actually conquer them. We're going to be justifying a whole lot of wars for basically the rest of time. That's really going to be the thing. So we might want to just go jingoistic, maybe even fascist. Yeah, we'll go ahead and reject that peace deal, and we'll just call it right here for now. When we come back, we're going to just further deconstruct the entire world. We might actually decide not to go for Georgia and just take it from the Russians later on, but I'm actually pretty content with what we're doing. And then we're going to just try to bludgeon the Persians and all of these other states. And I'm sure a decent number of them will come at us first. So, thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. I think we have a very solid chance of forming or reforming the Alexandrian Empire in the early modern era. So that's pretty cool. Have a great day. Hope you're interested. I mean, this is some great, interesting stuff, I think. I hope you think so, too.